everybody, welcome. My name is Rubydung. Welcome to today's episode. As you can see, I'm over here at the main base. That is because I was doing some work around here, and I have been doing a little bit of extra work, and I have now made a decision. So, because of the work I've been doing around here, I've been able to stack up quite a bit of emeralds, and I was also using the skeleton XP farm a lot, as you can see by my levels down here. So with all of that now, well, not nice and done, but with me doing all of that, I feel it is finally time, at long last, to begin the next pickaxe project. So, I have a whole bunch of pickaxes that I'm going to be storing up. I'm getting levels nicely, and I also have a whole ton of resources nice and stacked to the side, because even if I were to stop trading for emeralds now, I could probably get about 50 pickaxes with what I have. So, that is very good. Actually, wait a second. 50 pickaxes. Yeah, I guess 50 pickaxes. Holy cow. So, with all of that, well, ready, I guess, it's time for me to begin my next project, in which case, I'm actually thinking of it going to be not a digging project in the typical place. I'm actually thinking of doing it all the way in the Nether. Ooh. So I am planning on doing a digging project here in the Nether. Oh, apparently my game froze there. I had to load a little too much. But I'm actually thinking of it having to be, I have to run a little way. It's not going to run the whole way, though, because it is actually quite far. But all the way down this direction, all the way out here, some of you might recognize this immediately, but this is the fortress. For some reason, this edge over here is open. Don't know why. I could have swore I plugged up this whole thing, but I guess I didn't. Oh, yeah, I almost plugged up the whole thing. But this out here is the fortress, in which case, what I'm wanting to do is actually some measuring and some digging, because I have farmed at this place for a long time now, and I am extremely tired. Well, it's also been a while. I am extremely tired of the spawns I get here every once in a while, and I'm wanting to convert this thing into almost purely a skeleton farm, and on top of that, be able to actually mix this up a little bit. Why is the water being weird in this area? I know exactly why it's being weird, but I'm just curious why it's being so weird. But I'm also wanting to make this more automatic. But the first part to doing that is having to dig out the whole area. I can't leave it how it is. I have to dig out the whole thing. So, I need to go down there, measure out the actual flooring, and come back up here and lay out a grid for where the floor is. And from there, I can begin digging it out. Alright, I did some measuring here. Right below this block right here is what I would probably say is not the center, but is definitely a kind of like intersection-ish kind of area. In which case, has quite a bit of road going around it. And I want to use this as the center point of where I will be building my nether farm. So, my hope here with the nether farm is I'm hoping to build basically a farm that can farm any nether mob. So, there's going to be things like ghast, there's going to be things like blazes, there's going to be things like mammoth cubes, there's going to be things like wither skeletons, and there's going to be things like blazes. There's going to be all these different nether mobs that spawn in this one area, and I want to create a system to funnel and kill them, so that way I can get all resources. By the way, there's a little pattern over here. I keep looking at it over and over again. It looks so interesting. I have to get rid of it for this thing to work. I just find it so interesting. Look at it. They all connect. There's a little square. There's a nice little ring going around it. But anyways, getting done distracted by that thing. I have, from this central point right here, dug out 120 blocks in each direction. Not in this direction, technically, because if I just run all the way out here, you're going to find where I have my actual staircase down. But I did have to dig out this part, but it goes for a lot longer that direction. Now, 128 is the minimum size that this has to be, because a 128 is the guaranteed distance of a despawn. So, I have to make sure to have my distance be longer than 128. But this farm isn't going to be a single block big. This farm is going to be not fairly large, but definitely of a notable size. So, the distance that I currently have mined out is going to be increased probably by an extra, I'm thinking 64 just to be safe. I'm probably going to do 32 for now. If it has to be bigger, then it has to be bigger. But I'm probably just going to do 32 for now. But I'm going to mine out these holes currently. I'll just show you that I have 128 going in each direction. So if I look at this, you can see I am at negative 372. And luckily enough, 128 being added to that is negative 500. So if I run all the way down this hall here, I should wind up at negative 500, which once I get all of the way out here, you are going to be seeing that I'm getting very close here. You are going to be seeing that I absolutely am. Boom, negative 500. So, I'm going to increase each of these halls by an extra 32. Minecraft works in bits a lot, so I'm just going to be continuing to work in bits because it's just simple. So, I'm going to extend 32 in each direction. That should give me a platform about 64 by 64 to work with, which I think is going to be big enough. So, like for example, if I were to stand in the center here, a mob will be able to spawn about 30-ish 2 blocks away from me, meaning if I stand in the center here, mobs are going to be spawning all around me, so I can wind up making like a little square shape, or I would have to do some math or some different sorts of calculations to determine what is basically the automatic farm that I can make that I can stand here in the middle of. Or I can wind up doing the exact opposite and creating something in the center and creating a rail system that'll take me around and around it so that way mobs continue to farm. I'm thinking the rail system for now because this kind of wastes space standing in the center, but I will be determining that at a later date. For right now, I have to dig, in which case I have to do a lot of digging. So, that is what I'm going to begin doing. I'm going to extend the halls a little bit to start with, and then I'm going to try connecting the halls. Alright, you can't really see it, but I expanded these halls now down 160 blocks. I didn't expand them by 160, now I expanded to 160 because it's 128 plus 32, so it's a total of 160 expanded from center block here. So, I can now run down either of these directions, and that is now giving me about a 32 gap, meaning that if I were to do like a little coaster system, if I were to get some water out here, because I absolutely have water above, I can filter that all the way down here. I just have to break the bedrock. I could probably wind up making a bit of an interesting system. I just have to, you know, actually make the thing now. But with all of that still in place, I want to begin, for one, mining all the way up to the roof here, so that way I actually have access to the bedrock. And while I'm also doing this, I want to begin actually extending the side hall, kind of, I guess. Well, first off, I need to actually get this whole thing mined out. Well, not the whole thing, but enough to actually expose the bedrock. And once I have the bedrock exposed, then I can begin, like, removing that from above. And I can also slowly extend this area out. So, this is probably going to be a mainly off-camera kind of thing. Just simply because it's going to be extremely resource-intensive to mine this thing out. But I do plan to actually do this so that way I have a nice nether farm. Because the only nether farm I currently have is going to wind up being the gold one. I have all the way up there some direction. Actually, I think it's more that direction. Because it's very, actually, probably more that direction. I'm trying to hone in navigation-wise. But, that's the only thing I have, in which case I get a little bit of magma cream from it, and mainly gold, and even then it's not that good. I have to manually farm wither skulls, and I'm tired of that, and I need more beacons because I'm expanding my base at a rapid pace. So, I want to begin doing it like that. And in order to do so, I'm going to need to begin expanding this base out. Well, not the base, more just this bottom area down here. So, I'm going to need to make more enchanted picks to actually mine out this area. Sadly, I got rid of all those efficiency 3 picks a while back. Someone in my comments was talking about how I should have better nether projects. Well, I guess they were talking about how I could use the efficiency 3 picks for nether projects. I was like, I'm probably not going to do that. Now, I'm at a time where I should have done that, because now I was like, ooh, I could have a nether project now. So, but with all of that said, guys, that's probably going to be it for today's episode. I do hope you guys enjoyed. If you have anything you want to see me do, be sure to tell me. I always love hearing your guys' suggestions. I always have a billion projects that are going on in this world at a given time, so I always love to hear what you can do. This is a sandbox game, so there's an infinite amount of things that I always can wind up doing. But with all of that now nice and said, that's going to be it for today's episode. I do hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be seeing you guys here in the next one. So long. See ya. Bye. See, we're already over 20 blocks in. Easy. Of 160. And it gets expansively more the further you dig. No problem. It's gonna be a big project.